Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the podcast and the YouTube channel. Today, we're going to break down the Waste Management. Very big event, a lot of big names. Even though there are a lot of big names overseas this weekend, we have a top-heavy, very top-heavy tournament here in Waste Management in Scottsdale, Arizona. What we're going to do here is just break down this course. So if in this tournament, really, if you're here for the first time, welcome. Maybe you're new to me from finding me. I usually cover NFL, NBA, some different sports. PGA, I covered it in the majors last year for the most part. Some other events like the Greenbrier. This year, going to be covering all the major just events, maybe some things overseas as well, and then just a lot of tour events like this one at the Waste Management. So welcome back if you're somebody returning subscriber. Thank you. I appreciate you if you're brand new here. Welcome. It is very nice to meet you. I do have exclusive content over on Patreon if you're interested. More podcasts and these stat sheets updated. That usually releases on Thursday morning if the event is not a early morning event. If it is, then we'll release it on Wednesday afternoon/evening. Please do hit the subscribe button before we get into it. And also check out my social medias if you're indeed interested. You can find all that stuff linked up down below, as well as some DFS strategy guides that I've made totally free down below as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through each pricing range, talk about some things. Obviously, we'll focus the top heavy aspect of this on the guys that are $8,000 and above, which is a loaded field, especially if you're looking at $9,000 and above. So we'll go through it. We'll look at all that. And before we do, I just want to quickly say and really just show appreciation for everybody saying a lot of positive feedback on these golf videos so far and the podcast. So thank you. Continue to give me any feedback that you might have on them. We'll continue to make them better as much as we can. So Tpc Scottsdale is a par 71. It is 7,261 yards. Par 71 makes it a little bit more difficult there. It's not just a 72 and with a longer distance on it, but it was a 24th out of 48 on this tour, most difficult course, so it's right around average. Bermuda greens, some things that I saw when I was looking at it that were pretty key. Scrambling and sand save percentages are going to be big here. There are a ton of bunkers, some of the most on tour. Tee to green, ball striking, some things that we're usually looking at every single week. Par 5 scoring, as there are some really easy and scoreable par 5s. There is a very easy par 4 on this one as well that you can reach, potentially drive the green on the par 4. So that's somewhere that you can pick up some more strokes as well, but then also a par 4 is somewhere between 400, 450, and 500 as well. We're looking like areas with some of the longer par 4s on this course that you have to get low on to kind of win this thing at the end of the day. So whoever gets out with the putter, like usual here, there is going to be some interesting spots where on 17 there's going to be water to the left. There's going to be situations where a lot of things like we saw last year can absolutely change as the day comes to an end, especially when the weekend comes and the pressure is on for a lot of these golfers. So starting in the 10K and above range, man, it's hard to kind of pick out guys that you don't like in this range. So Rahm right now is the favorite, 6-1. Justin Thomas, 9-1. I'm assuming just because Rahm came in second last week, almost made the stride to win last week, but it ended up not closing it out. But Justin Thomas, last time we saw him, he finished third here last year. Last time we saw him 17th in 2018, won earlier this year. It's a spot where he's 9-1, and I think that might actually be a good number on him in this situation. I prefer Justin Thomas to Rahm this week. You're getting a slight discount. It's pretty much a pick 'em at that point. Rahm in his 4 events here has finished at worst T16, a T10 last year, a T11 and 18, and then a T5 and 15 was his best finish. He's number 1 in par 4s from 450 plus. He's number 1 in par 4 scoring, number 2 in eagles gain, number 3 in birdie or better. He's fine with the putter right now. He's top 8 in all the other statistically significant categories like tee to green, ball striking off the tee. He's fantastic. I don't have anything negative really to say against him. If you wanted to choose Jon Rahm over Justin Thomas, I'm fine with that. Justin Thomas right now is number 1 tee to green player, number 3 ball striker. He's number 3 in DraftKings points. There's so many things I could say. He is a number 4 par 4 scorer. He is right now number 1 in opportunities game, number 1 in par 5 scoring. There's a lot of things to like about both these guys. I'll give the slight edge. You get somewhat of a slight savings. Maybe it's just my biases and personally liking Justin Thomas more. Like both of these guys a lot. They both are as great as they are, and I think that getting to one of them feels pretty good for these types of lineup builds. Ricky Fowler would be my guy in the 10K plus range that I'll get away from. The defending champ here. This is a guy with 3 top 5 finishes over the last 4 years here. His worst finish in the last 4 years was T11 in 2018. I get it. I get how good he's been in those situations, but he hasn't been as great this year. Last year he pretty much got hot and absolutely just went unconscious with the putter. He's 111th in opportunities game. He's 46 in par 5s right now. There's not a lot of stuff that stands out. 27th putting is okay. 64th in approach. Not a lot that stands out for me to want to pay this tag when you're so close to Justin Thomas and Rahm's price. And then some of these guys below him. I think Webb is somebody that I like. I have him as a yes right now. Finished second here in 2017. Last year, most recent data that we have on him here was T20. He's a number 1 total strokes game player right now on tour. He's been absolutely great with the putter, number 3 overall. He's number 2 in DraftKings points, number 5 in birdies or better, number 3 in par 4 scoring. There's just so many things. Scrambling, I mentioned as a key stat, he's top 10 in that category. So many things stand out here for Webb, and I do think he has the upside to go low and finish T5 yet again, like he did in 2017, with the upside of winning this thing. His scoring average, if you're looking back to a bigger sample dating back to last year, is the best right now out of all these 8K and above players. Hideki stands out as well. He's more of a secondary option. So the guys I like the most in 10K and above are Justin Thomas and Webb Simpson, and then John Rahm and Hideki would slide in after that. Hideki's won this event in 2017 and 16, finished T2 in 2015. Last year, the most recent sample, he finished 15th overall. There's not much terrible things to say about him either. 10-1, you're getting a very nice discount of 1,000 plus off of the Rahm and Justin Thomases. I would definitely prefer Hideki to Ricky Fowler at this point. Top 5 tee to green player in the world right now on tour. He's 50th in strokes gained putting, so that's the one spot that if he gets hot there, you're probably going to see him finish in a T10 or better in this spot. 30-second scrambling. It's just a situation where the guys above him I have a little bit more interest in. Nothing totally negative to say about Hideki. Xander, T10 last year here, T17 and 18. We'll see if he can continue to build on these finishes and trends of improving here over the last 2 years. He's 6th in par 5 scoring, 7th in par 4 scoring. A lot of things to like here. He's a top tee to green player in the world, ball striking off the tee, all that stuff. I like the fact that he's 18-1 odds to win this thing. His odds to win this are actually better, depending on where you look, but better than Hideki's by a decent amount. So I think you're getting a probably price discount of 300 or so on Xander, probably a 10K player that just isn't 10K in this field. So if you did want to pull the trigger on somebody in the 9K range, either to start your lineups with or get to at this point, I wouldn't be totally against starting it with Xander. Tony Finau's been hot as of late. He's been terrible here. He's missed the last 4 cuts. He finished T22 and 15. He's been absolutely terrible here. He's been playing overseas and been playing fine. We saw him last week. Had a good finish. Another situation, pretty standard. Finau being up there in the leaderboards, but not really being able to close out. It's just a situation where everything looks good for him right now. It's just, I don't want to play him here. I don't. At 9,600, I think he'll continue to be popular. He's just a popular player in the DFS format. We'll see what all the podcasts say about him. But he's top 10 in ball striking. He's number 4 in tee to green. A lot of things stand out. Terrible with the putter right now, 111th in the world. That's not great. He's okay, and he's really good actually in par 4 scoring. It gets worse when it goes further distance around the 450 range. It starts to slide a lot down. He's top 10 in opportunities gained, top 10 in greens and regulations. There's a lot of numbers I could point out that look good for him. The reason I'm not playing him, he is terrible here. There's other situations where at 9,600, there's other things that stand out pretty with eyesores as well. Mainly the 111th in putting, things like that. So I can't go through every single player specifically. On this front page, I have a lot of notes on players. On the next couple of pages, I won't. But Finau's a guy that I don't really have much interest in. In this range, Xander stands out. And then Colin Morikawa stands out. So he hasn't played here yet. Not a ton of people have not played here. I think it's like 10 and actually won the tournament. But these are types of players that we're getting now that are a different caliber, I would say, especially Morikawa. And at 9,200, I don't need you to outright win the thing. You give me a T10, and I'll absolutely be fine with that. He's 9th in good drives right now. You're seeing him be a fine sand save player at this point. He's 3rd in opportunities gained. And when you come to all of his statistically significant numbers, like I like to call them, 2nd tee to green, 4th in ball striking, number 1 in approach, 8th in DraftKings points. I mean, it's the guy in this range that I like the most is Morikawa. Yes, I know he hasn't played here, but I'm absolutely fine with that. I like getting to him. Some of the other players in this range, if you want to know where I'm at on them, like Woodland won here in 2018, T7 last year, like Bubba with the T4 last year, finished 2nd here in 15. I do have some notes on them. Just want to make this video consumable and somewhere around the 20-minute mark. So, in the 8K range, somebody who stands out off the top is Sungjae Im. A situation where 4th in DK points, top 10 putter right now. That's good to see. You're seeing him top 30 in some other numbers like tee to green and ball striking. 2nd in birdie or better, 10th in par 4 scoring. Can he win in this field is the big question mark. And I don't think he can actually pick up a number and win here. Can he get hot and just finish something like last year, like a T7? I think so. So at 8,800, I do have interest. He's not my favorite player in this range, but I do have a lot of interest. My favorite player in this range right now is Viktor Hovland. It's not even close. I have him right here as 45-1 odds to win this. He's in the range in a lot of other books as 50-1. Very similar to my takes on Colin Morikawa, except Hovland is $800 cheaper. Hovland is coming from playing overseas last week, similar to Bryson. I think the only 2 players in the field. You have him right now as a top 5 player in tee to green. Number 2 in ball striking. Number 5 in approach. Number 1 off the tee. The guy's been absolutely fantastic. He's great everywhere else. Number 1 in opportunities game. Top 10 par 5 score. 11th in par 4 scoring. There is not a lot of holes in this guy's game. And at 8,400, he kind of stands out above the rest. You can play the narrative of, oh, he's young. Not a lot of guys have won here the first time. Again, at this price range, we do not need you to win here. If you do, fantastic. Continue to be the number 11th guy or whatever. But we don't need you to win here at this point. The one issue is that he does have his scrambling sand save when that stuff comes into play. So that does actually factor in here a decent amount for me. But at 8,400, I think it's enough to wait it out. The 45 to 50 to 1 number on Viktor Hovland is pretty eye-opening to me and very confusing. Scotty Scheffler right there next to him. I think at 8,500, you can tell me I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler over Hovland if Hovland picks up a lot of ownership in DFS tournaments. I think that makes sense. You've seen Scotty Scheffler been very solid, top 20 right now in tee to green, approach, ball striking. He's number 10 in good drives. A lot of his game is put together right now and playing well. He got to play in the swing season. He's top 10 in par 4 scoring. It moves to number 2 when you look 400 to 450. Scheffler and Viktor Hovland in that 8K range stand out a lot to me. I prefer both of them over Sungjae Im actually. Matt Wolfe, another young guy. This is just a range of young guys similar to last week. Finished T50 here last week. 7th in distance. Very bad scrambler, 109th right now, but he's 12th in opportunities gained. You get the guy who scores very well on par 4s, especially the further the distance. Makes sense with the driver that he has, 450 to 500. Situation where he's been average in a lot of other spots like tee to green and ball striking. Well, above average, but average amongst his top-end peers. I would put Matt Wolfe as my 4th option in this range. I would go Hovland, Scheffler, Im, and then Wolfe as of right now. Getting into the 7K range, we're going to see I don't have a lot of it nowhere near as filled out as above because, those are the guys that we care the most about. These are the guys that I'll break down into specific players and look more into. Starting with Benny An. Benny An right now at 80 to 1 to win this tournament, 7,600. Seems like a really nice price. You had the guy he's gained strokes putting in his last 4. He gained 7.2 strokes gained putting at the Farmers. Absolutely blew up there. Top 20 tee to green, number 5th around the greens, which is very big here of a stat. Around the green play was seen to pop a little bit for me when I looked at it. 16th in par 4s and then 7th in scrambling. So, look, if you're going to get him gaining 7 strokes like he did at the Farmers, that's not fantastic. But 80 to 1, outright betting looks good here on him. I do have interest, not a slam dunk. Again, a guy who's playing here for the first time, but I think it's a spot that I do actually like Benny An. Rory Sabatini, a guy who has had success here, T22 and 15, moderate success, and then T31 and 18. He's been playing very sound. His game right now is solid everywhere. There's not a lot of spots that I can point out over his last 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 events that he's just absolutely blown up in one situation. If he's losing strokes, if he's missing the cut, it's barely. And if he's losing strokes, it's a situation where he's losing 1 stroke putting. Nothing absolutely terrible. He's losing a half a stroke here on around the green plane and a half a stroke off the tee or something like that, right? Right now, his game looks very good. You can look at that by showing 14th overall tee to green, 13th around the green, 15th in opportunities. Lots of things look nice. He can sand save. He's a guy who can scramble. I think Rory at 7,300 is a pretty solid play. Then these guys back-to-back, $7,300 Emmanuel Grillo and Lando Griffin at 7,200. You're getting Grillo right now. Strokes gained putting. He actually gained or lost strokes. He picked up strokes in a positive way at the Sony, 1.1, finished T21 there. If you get that at all, at 7,300, if you get Grillo doing anything with the putter, he's going to be completely fine. Before that, though, he gained on average 4.5 strokes putting over his 6 out of his last 7 events. That is terrible. If you get that, 7,300 is probably going to miss the cut for you. Grillo so far here over the last 4 years has made the cut every year, worth noting. He's number 1 ball striker player right now. He's number 2 in approach, number 7 tee to green. You know the deal here. Can he just gain strokes like he did at the Sony at all? Just don't go absolutely catastrophic and lose a bunch of strokes. Can he gain strokes putting is the big key here. Lando Griffin at 7,200, been popular as of late, first time playing here. We'll see how popular he gets here. He gained strokes putting in 3 of his last, or he's lost strokes putting 3 of his last 4. That's not great. We can see if he can get that back. Very similar to Grillo in that aspect that he needs his putter to do something. But has not been as solid or elite, I would say, in the ball striking and approach department as Grillo. But he's been pretty good everywhere else. 31st in tee to green play for his price. That's very good. 19th in putting overall. 2nd in par 5 scoring. 10th in eagles gained, which is going to be pretty significant here with these par 4s and the par 5s and the par 4 that is drivable and scoreable. And then Carlos Ortiz, a couple other guys. Carlos Ortiz stands out at 7,100 here, 33rd tee to green, 13th around the green. It's not a play that I like a lot. Maybe if you're playing 20 lineups, you get 1 or 2 of him. 8 top 10 scrambler, looks okay. Kyle Stanley, Matt Jones, other names that popped a little bit for me. I don't have any really deep interest in them. They're guys that, again, if you're playing 20 lineups and you need to change up the value you're getting, you don't really like any of the value in the 7K range all that much, just spread them all out. Stanley has not been fantastic here, missed the cut 3 out of the last 5 years. Matt Jones has not played here in 2 years, but made the cut all 3 previous years to that. If we go to the 6K range now, there's a decent amount of options here. I have 5 guys starred early on between 6,900 and 6,500. We'll finish up 6,400 to 6,000 flat on the next sheet. But before we do, be sure to check out my Patreon exclusive content if you're indeed interested. Follow me on Twitter for updates at SalvetchaDFS, Instagram as well, and hit the subscribe button on the audio version right now. And also, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, why not hit that subscribe button? So, similar to Tony Finau, except he's a lot cheaper, and when I say a lot cheaper, I mean $3,000 cheaper, is Cameron Tringale, who has not had success here. Did not play here last year, 4 straight cuts before that. I have him as a yes right now. Maybe this is bold. Now, if you are a player who factors course history a lot, and I do think this course actually does benefit higher caliber players. You see a lot of great players being on the top of the leaderboards here, and a lot of great players just being there down the stretch on this course. And I think it's a situation where you could really blow up on this course, so it probably comes mentality, confidence, mental game, all that into the weekend, which is usually a lot of veteran players and some of the best players at that point, because that's how they got there, are the best in that category of the mind state side of the game. So maybe Tringale is just not there right now, but his game has been a lot better than we've seen it really maybe ever. At this point, it's been solid all around. He's pretty above average. He's 35th, right around top 40 in par 5 scoring and opportunities game. He's right around a top 20 scrambler, 18th in par 4 scoring, 35th in par 5s. You're seeing him as a top 20 tee to green player. And when you get to the 6K range, anytime that you see a player so high, like top 30 or so in tee to green, it's worth breaking more down into them. He's good on approach, which is important here, 18th. So maybe my yes is a little bit aggressive for him in this range. You're just trying to weed out these 6K guys in at least this 6K range that I like. So I have him, maybe he's a maybe for you guys, but I do like him. Sepp Straka, Kevin Streelman, both at 6,800 stand out. You saw that Straka missed a cut last week. Streelman here last time finished T50 and T40s, made the cut back-to-back times, 3 to 5 times here as well. Another player who's playing very good right now. Now, he lost strokes putting in his last 4, so that's not good. That's a situation where you're going to need him if you want to make the cut to be okay with the putter and just not be losing strokes, because he's number 9 tee to green, 11th ball striking, 10th in approach. He's the 4th in sand save percentage. A lot of things look good here. 21st in par 5 scoring, or par 4 scoring, 56th in par 5 scoring, which when you're down this low, it's actually an okay number when you're above half the field. So Kevin Streelman stands out to me, not with any type of, just above these other guys around him is the best way to say that, really. Not with any type of conviction do I have in playing him, but his game has been very good as of late. Doc Redman, a guy I feel like I always am getting to, has not played here over the last 5 years at all. He's number 5 in good drives. He's 105th in par 5, so that's not great to see. But there's some things that are nice to see. Again, 22nd tee to green player at a price tag of $6,600, worth looking more into. Then you find that he's 6th in ball striking, 6th off the tee. That's good. He's 27th in par 5 scoring, but he gets much better as the distance goes on and becomes a top 20 player when you start to look at some of the key areas of 400 to 450 and 450 to 500 for this type of a course. Trey Mullinax at 6,500 is the last guy on the sheet. Finished T15 here last year. It's very scary to look at him because he's just so inaccurate. Like, he's the number 1 driving distance player as of right now to this week in the field, and he is one of the worst accuracy players. Like, I mean, bottom 10% in the field, well, bottom 5% even. But he's top 10 in ball strike, or top 30 in ball striking. He's 16th in opportunities gained, and you're seeing a guy who is a top 25 player in Power 5 scoring at 6,500. Had the success here last year. I don't feel great about it at all. If I had to rank this range for you guys, I'd probably go Cameron Tringale, Kevin Streelman, and then some sort of mixture of Doc Redman, Mullinax, and Straka after that. Getting into the last page here, my goal is to keep these videos around, 18 to 22 minutes. On average, 20 minutes seems to do the best when I do that for NBA. On this final page, you know what you're looking for here. I'll also point out, actually, on this final page that Zach Sucher, I believe it is pronounced, he did qualify on Monday along with 2 other players, so be sure to follow that. They've not put him yet, as I'm recording this, into the player pools, but he's the guy on Twitter that got a lot of the DFS community pretty hyped. But it's worth noting that he had a Monday qualified last week for the Farmers, and then he played all 4 because he made the cut. He played all 4 days at the Farmers. Then he had a Monday qualify for this event, the Waste Management, on Monday of this week, so he's been playing a lot of golf. Now, of course, the DFS community loves him right now, and his Twitter game right now is absolutely fantastic, and it's fun to watch. But just keep in mind that he'll probably be overowned because of that, but also that he's been playing a ton of golf. I mean, he's been playing pretty much 5-day events because of these Monday qualifiers over the last 2 weeks. But needless to say, he is in the field if indeed you want somebody to root for. He's a very good player to be rooting for. Just a lot of fun behind that one. Tori Merritt, interesting to look at, stands out a little bit here. He's made the cut 2 of the last 3 times. Has not played here in the last 2 years. His rank in the world right now, his Vegas odds, they look fine for where the price is. It's just throwing darts on him, though. There's not much to say outside of he's pretty much average in some areas, terrible in others, like a lot of guys at this point. Scot Harrington at 6,200, I think he stands out. Hasn't played here since 2015 where he got cut. He's 33rd in tee to green numbers, 34th ball striking, and 17th off the tee. For a guy right now who is 6,200, who is somewhere around like the 120th player in a field of 132, these are pretty good numbers. 33rd in par 4s from 400 to 450. Top 30 in par 5 scoring. He lost 2.2 strokes putting at the Farmers, and that pretty much led to him being cut. if you get him just playing fine, even for the first 2 days of this event to make the cut after the 36 holes on Friday, and really it's going to come from the putter. If you get him being okay there, you're going to be fine with somebody making the cut at 6,200 for you, and that's really all you can ask for at that point. Mark Hubbard stands out. He's played here twice, hasn't played here in 2 years, made the cut both times, T42 in 17, T60 in 16. Other guys that just stand out in this range. Steve Stricker at 6,100. Maybe my wild card. Look, he's 350 to 1 odds to win this thing. He's below guys like Colt Knox who are 1,000 to 1 odds. His price point right now is probably a couple $100 too cheap based on his Vegas odds to win this. But you're getting a guy who's 27th in tee to green. He's literally right now one of the last players in this field, but he's top 30 in tee to green. He's the number 3 approach player in the world. He's gaining pretty much every single week on approach strokes. He's gaining putting over the last 3 weeks. Now, before that, he was losing a lot of strokes putting, but that's what you're going to get, variance, especially down here. So it's good to see that you're on the positive side of that right now. He's 15th in fairways hit. He's 59th in par 5 scoring, which doesn't sound great, but again, he's like the 125th player in this field right now. He's 40th in par 4 scoring. So right now, Steve Stricker is a guy that I'm looking at and have a good amount of interest in. He has played here 4 times since 2015, made the cut 2 out of those 4 times. T31 finished in 18, T42 finished in 17. You get any one of those finishes. You just get him to make the cut here at 6,100. I think I do like him. And we're not only the course history of making it 2 out of 4 times, I don't really factor that too much as it's good to say for the context, I would say, and just to show that they have experience here. It's more so about the fact of his price point and how he's playing right now. So that's where I'm at. That is just position or salary range by salary range, some interest that I do like. I'll put it back to the top page if you guys want to look at that. This will be updated probably Wednesday night / Thursday morning with a podcast episode as well, so you can check that out. My final thoughts there, where my exposures are going to be lying. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Please do hit that subscribe button and check out my exclusive content, and do follow me over on Twitter. Hit me up with a hey, what's up, either in the DMs. You can at me on Twitter at DFS. Let's have a conversation over there about DFS, about DFS golf, about the waste management this week. Very excited for that. I'll also be on the Awesome channel later today. So if you're watching this a couple days later, I'm shooting this on Tuesday morning. Then you can check out the replay of that with Ben Raza talking about the waste management. So thank you so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Peace out, gang. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Above my head, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, I do ask you if you can please hit that subscribe button. Helps me out a good amount to reach more people. You can also follow me on Twitter. That's over there. Right in the corner is my @SalVetriDFS Twitter. And then above, you'll find my Patreon link. You can click on that if you want more exclusive content for me, or a video is going to pop up. So why don't you check that one out as well? I think it's going to be beneficial for you. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.